has no pressure weight, and they wrote it somewhere here. And before you leave and after you get in your teams and all that kind of stuff, we'll just have you put it in your binder. Maybe the coaches can bring that binder in your teams. You can just write it in there. So that initial weight is just ballpark so your coaches can email to you the correct templates. And so that's like a ballpark thing to start. So this is a larger group than we often have, and I'm super pleased about that. I will say that there are exactly half what I was hoping would be here when I said, about 60 people, because I want, you heard my goal, you've heard me talk about it in my classes. My goal is to have all of our members ideal body weight. Wouldn't that be an incredible thing? And we've talked about how that automatically changes so many things and all the health markers and all those kind of things. It just makes a really big difference. That alone, in and of itself, boom, makes a big, big difference. So that is an important goal for all of us. And so I'm super pleased that there are exactly 30 of you, I think, that signed up in the program. It's fantastic. I'm super pleased to see all of these faces here. And so, I don't know, congratulate yourself a little bit for diving in and taking the step, and also having some faith in us to try to roll out a nice program for you. So just a little bit about the program, kind of an overview. You've heard us talk, or you've asked questions, or heard me talk in class, that this is, again, a lifestyle change. This is not a weight loss program. It's not something where you lose a whole bunch of weight, get metabolic compensation, and gain it all back. This is exactly what I think that we need to learn to eat healthily. There's plenty of time to get into good habits and both learn and get in the habit of eating what we're supposed to eat. This is programmed to optimize your performance and optimize your percent body fat relative to your goals. It's very, very good, to the best of my knowledge, about nutrition, exercise physiology, all that kind of stuff. This is absolutely bang on. There's nothing weird or, in my opinion, wrong in any way. And one of the most important factors is that, so we've said this is a 13-week program. This is a lifestyle change. This is the first 13 weeks of the entire lifestyle change. And the big problem with so many programs out there is they do a whole bunch of exercise, they have a huge calorie restriction, they lose a whole bunch of weight, rah, 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 I lost 30 pounds, boom. 2 weeks later, they've gained almost the whole 30 pounds back. And so that's your body helping you to survive for eons. And so what we're doing, which is the most important part probably, is that after you have had some fat loss, and that's the correct term, so I'm going to try to always say fat loss. After you've had the appropriate amount of fat loss, and that happening in a slow enough rate so that your body does not overly compensate, so it happens at a slow enough rate that your body is not going to freak out about that. And then after a period of time, you need to go on what we're calling maintenance, but your body needs to reset. So very, very seldom in literature does anyone talk about your body resetting to its new norm. But that is absolutely true, in the best of my knowledge, that you can't just weight loss forever. There has to be stages whereby your body adapts to its new norm, and it has to be a period of time that it accepts that as a new norm, and then you can continue to cut a little bit more. And so it has to happen in those stages in order for it to be real, and for your body to accept it, and for your metabolism to accept it. If it happens too fast, it gets what's called metabolic compensation, and it will create all kinds of things within you to make you eat more, exercise less, hormonally, mentally, a whole bunch of stuff. So it's great. it works, and then the next part is to follow it. And one of the most important factors is that you're all here, and that we're having teams, and we have hopefully these fun little challenges and things to keep everyone engaged and actually complete the program. That is the big deal. So if everyone, all throughout, you're going to hear them say it over and over, have any questions, get them answered. You're going to have access to, your private team Facebook group where you'll have lots and lots of contact class, contact whatever. Get your questions answered. Make sure you're doing the right thing right away and feel good about what you're doing. Any questions? No, we were talking about that earlier. What are we talking about now? Let me think if there's anything else I need to talk on that subject. Maybe the biggest point there is that it's a lifestyle change. So it's a slow process that's going to allow us to make those adaptations. Maybe it's a good time to mention, so you guys had a generalized weight. Your coach is going to send you a template with your approximate weight, and then there will be amounts of food to eat. And for the first 2 or 3 weeks, your coaches are going to be monitoring your twice weekly weigh-ins, and what you need to do is not worry at all about the first 2 or 3 weeks. In fact, the first week period is just an entire week of adaptation for you guys to get accustomed to meal prepping. Should I mention meal prepping? I don't believe anyone succeeds in virtually any program that I'm aware of that works without meal prepping. And so we always joke that, there's 2 ways to do it. You either meal prep or you're independently wealthy and someone cooks for you. So mostly everyone groans and they go, yeah, I'm meal prepping, and it is necessary. Ask anyone that here who is succeeding on a program. Meal prepping in our society is absolutely vital. You all know that if that food is not right there, easily accessible, then bad things happen. One, there should be nothing in your house where anything bad could happen, so you just don't buy it. Rule number 1, it's not in your house. You got a whole week to get rid of that stuff, right? So you got a whole week to get rid of that stuff, and then kind of adapting this week, figuring out the meal plans, figuring out how it works. No stress, no strain, no pain, just kind of adapt, figure out how it's going, and then, for a couple weeks, the coaches are going to start monitoring. And in that first 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to eat what it says and see how it goes. Lots of people undereat, lots of athletes undereat. So maybe your metabolism is stalled out and you need to eat a little bit more and pick it up. Maybe you need to eat less. Whatever the case is, you're just going to relax. Don't stress. It's a long program, and then your coaches will see what's going on and make small adaptations personalized for you. That's basically how it works. Give them lots of love, because I'm telling you, they have put in lots of time and will continue to put in lots of time. Help you guys out. Are we ready for the next one? Okay.
So we'll just go through the schedule of events first, your first page. So upon arrival, we've done all that. If you popped in late, just make sure that you take your weight, sign your waiver, and then we'll jot that stuff down later, okay? So in this program, a lot of people will see some really awesome changes. It would be awesome if you could take some before and after pictures in the privacy of your own home, because trust me, it makes you feel a little bit better at the end. So it's well worth it to do that, just to have your own documentation and look at changes that we want to see. So it's really highly suggested that you do that sometime in the next week and then sometime at the very end. So really highly suggest that you guys do that. Then we do need you guys to do an in-body early this week, please, hopefully Monday, Tuesday. Do it at your normal class time. This will be the time that you guys are taking your weigh-ins as well. So do your in-body this week. We each are gonna have 2 file folders, one for my team, one for Stephanie's team. They are very private, so each person has their own file folder within these. There's gonna be a 3-hole punch up front. So do your in-body, get your printout, put it in your appropriate folder, okay? And you'll know which team you're on by the end of today as well. So do those, and we will have those. We'll do that. We'll do one in-body in the beginning, one in-body at the very end. So put those in here for us. And we will also do the twice weekly weigh-ins. So again, please do those at your normal class time. And all you'll do is hop on the in-body just like we did here tonight and jot down your weight. So in each person's file, there will be sheets where you will have for your weekly weigh-ins. So just jot down the date and you'll have one weigh-in and then the second weigh-in. And then if, I don't know, add any comments if you want. If there's something you need to tell us on here, feel free to do that. Otherwise, obviously, we'll be available for contact regardless. And then the other thing, let's see here, what else do we have in here? We have, we'll have weekly challenges and we'll document those in here, completion of those. So each week we're gonna come out with a challenge and you get points for completion of the challenge, okay? So, but what we want you to do is say, okay, the challenge was this, I completed it this date, sign your initials and any comments you may want to do, like, oh, I did it in this time or whatever you want to do, but you're going to get completion points for those challenges, all right? The other challenges we're going to have will be one per week on social media and on Facebook groups. We'll have some different fun ways to communicate and post different things just to get some participation points for our team. So each team is working to get points against the other team so that we have a winner at the end, my team.
Clearly my team.
So we're just working together, and again, these points are for completion. So, yeah, probably try hard, but it's, again, for completion. So do a good job, please, but you will get points for completing the activity. The other thing you're going to get points for will be class attendance. So you will get points for attending class 3 times a week, along with points for attending our team nights. The team events are listed on this first page, the schedule of events, and they are towards the bottom there, those dates. And it's not, do or die if you come, but those are going to be nights where it's opportunities to get together with our teams, ask any questions you need clarified, discuss with other people, give tips, tricks, all that jazz.
Play
will
games.
Be those nights. Yep, and then we'll have games those nights as well, where my team will win all of them. And for those nights as well, we'll have an attendance sheet for those so we can keep track of who was here and what points go where to.
So the whole point thing is just really for each team to gain as many points. So at the end, it's going to be my team total versus her team total to see who. So it's not like you're getting points against somebody else. It's kind of you're working with everybody else on your team to accumulate as many points for your team as possible. So the more things you participate in on social media or the weekly challenges or coming to the game nights, you're just really helping to gain points for your team.
How long is that in-body day?
2 minutes. Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so I think, do we have any questions on the first page? Any questions? Anybody? Okay. All right, next page. Having success with this program. Okay, so mindset, let's be positive, let's stick with it, let's use each other as resources and do a good job within this program. I know you can all do it, it's not too difficult, but just remember that everyone is in it together and bounce ideas off of each other, communicate with your coaches, questions, things like that, okay? We want to be here for you guys to utilize us as tools to succeed here. So let us know what you need, how we can help, and use each other too. Let's see here, we want everyone to attend, participate. We have our 2 required weigh-ins each week, and as Chris described, these weigh-ins are for us to utilize as tools to guide you where to go next. So we're gonna have communication with you guys after your weigh-ins. We're gonna look at those, see how you're progressing in the week. With those weigh-ins, please try your best to make them at least 2 days apart in the week. We'll be taking averages of them. So try your best to do like, a Monday and a Thursday, Tuesday and Friday, something like to space them out, okay? That will be super helpful for us. We're doing the in-body before, after, helpful to take the photos. And then we have eustress activities for you guys listed below. Just some options for getting a little bit of relaxation, recovery, because we know as athletes, that's going to be very beneficial for us to get in and for us to come back and be able to do the workouts well the next day. So remember that you should try and incorporate some of these activities as well.
If I just interject really quickly there, anyone with a stressful life, which, probably 50% of us or more, maybe it's 90, cortisol and weight loss do not go together. So if you have a stressful life period, at work, at home, whatever the deal is, these activities go a long way to reducing cortisol, which is going to, more than you realize, benefit you if your goal is fat loss. So stress equals cortisol equals fat gain, kind of. So reducing stress is a big deal.
It's okay. And then, so the next section there just shows us how the points are earned. So we kind of chatted about this earlier. It breaks down how many points you'll get for what. So for 3 class attendance per week, you will get 1 point, and then our social media stuff is another point per week. The weekly challenges, again, for participation are going to be 5 points. And then on the team night activities, that's actually going to be changed to 30 and 15 points, because we'll only have 2 teams instead of 3. Any questions on that page? Wonderful. And any questions that come up, obviously, we can chat about them later or sometime this week too. So this next page just gives us some food options. Your options are not limited to this list. This is a very good list to start with, but your options are not limited to this list. So if you have any questions on other options, please feel free to ask them. So the first section is on good proteins. It just gives you lots of different options here. With the proteins, we want to stick to lean proteins typically. And there's, obviously you can see the bunch that are listed here. And vegetable options, again, not limited to this list. This is a great place to start. If you guys have any questions on this list, please let us know. This is just here as a reference for you when you're trying to pick different things.
Can I ask, is it fresh vegetables, frozen vegetables, which is your preference?
Whichever you want to eat.
Vegetables.
Yeah.
I must have made a different
I don't see corn or carrots on the list.
What was that?
I don't see corn or carrots on the list.
That would be a starchy carb.
I mean, yeah, right.
I think that will come later when we talk about the templates. The difference between a fibrous carb and a starchy carb. Less sugar, more sugar. Okay, go ahead.
What? Okay, this next one is for you guys to reference for food portion sizes. It's just a helpful handy reference. So it breaks down different sizes. So on For proteins, typically the palm of your hand is usually 3 to 4 ounces. And then for fats, usually a full thumb is about 2 tablespoons, which is a serving, or half a thumb, which is about 1 tablespoon, which is about half a serving. So this is just a general guideline for you guys when you're trying to measure things, because some people, yes, you may want to weigh things, but other people are really not into that. And so we want to give you both options here. So we want to make this as simple as possible for you guys. Okay? And then the healthy carbs, cupped hand is about a half a cup, and then your full fist is about a cup. So those are just some general references, okay? Okay, so these next couple of tables, again, these are for your guys's, these are tools for you guys to use as references. So they're showing you different options, different carb options. So this first one is fruits, and it breaks down what the fruit is, and then what your serving size is, and your total carbs. And sugars are noted on there as well, just so you guys have a general idea. And the total carbs, and then we give you different options for sizes of the fruits too. And then, again, if you want to weigh them, that's also an option, so that's provided on there as well. Okay, and then it gives you the carb count. So when we get to going over the templates, you can look, okay, I need this many healthy carbs at this time. What is a good option here? Okay, so these are for your reference to use as tools. The next one, table here with the carb sheet. So these are going to be things like healthy grains and breads and different cereals. So you will note there is a starred box over here. These ones are not necessarily preferred carbs, but they're options. So when you're on the go and you only have a few different options, you have resources here to help you, okay? So yes, we want you to pick healthy carbs as often as possible, so the non-starred ones, but the starred ones are also options for when you are on the go or out with friends or whatever. So look these over. If you have questions about them, please let us know, we can help. Most of these we have cooked versus not cooked. So I know some people like to make big batches of things and then divide them later. So a couple of different options here. And again, some you can weigh if you want, or you don't need to necessarily weigh them, okay? So we want to make this as simple as possible.
And just real quick, that might seem overwhelming, but once you guys look at the template, it'll kind of make a little bit more sense, because we actually list out grams that you want to be hitting for certain macros. So that's so that everybody doesn't have to go out tonight and buy a scale and weigh and measure all their food. If you want to, that's absolutely something that you can do. But we put a lot of time and effort into creating these sheets that you can get an idea of just really quickly looking, all right, well, I'm allowed 25 grams of carbs. What's a good fruit source or a good grain source? Okay, that equates to 1 slice of this or a cup of this. So that way you're not having to get your scale and your calculator out at home. So just kind of an easy, you can spend lots of time this week looking over those lists.
Yep, and let us know if you have any questions on them, okay? We're here to help. Okay, so this next page with the nutrition facts, this one is to help you guys determine how to use foods that may be counted in multiple categories. So, for example, if you have a protein bar that has a fat content of 6 grams or more, you will count the grams of fat in that protein bar, okay? So you also count the protein in it as long as it's over 6 grams. So any macronutrient that has 6 grams or more, you will count that macronutrient when you're trying to fill your macros for your meal. And this will make a little bit more sense when we get to the templates, but just bear with me for a little bit here. So let's look at some of these examples. So for a BHU Fit Bar, we have the fat would be equal to 1 serving because there's 15 grams of fat there. The carbs you would count because it's over 6 grams of carbs. So that would be 9 grams of carbs that you would be counting. In your protein, you would count 15 grams because again, that's over 6 grams, okay? The RX bar. So the total fat here is 7 grams, which is a half a serving of fat that you would count. The carbs you would count again because they're over 6 grams, you would count the full 24 grams. And then the protein you would count as 12 grams. You will also notice we are not subtracting fiber, okay? So total carb count, not subtracting fiber, all right? Below that is another protein bar. And again, our total fat is 8 grams, so we're gonna count that as a half a serving of fat. And the carbs over 6 grams, we're gonna count as 27. And protein will count as 20 grams. There are some additional examples on the next page of a couple of different options as well. So like that Kind bar, okay, so your total fat is 4 grams, so we're not gonna count that, right? Because it's not 6 grams or more. You're gonna count the carbs in it because there's more than 6 grams. And the protein, there's only 2 grams, so we're not gonna count that, right? We're not at that 6 grams or more. And then there are the couple of meat bars there. So the Epic bar, the carbs in that are actually 9 grams. So you would count the carbs from that bar, okay? The fat, you would count as a half a serving there because there's 8 grams. And you would count the protein in that one too because there's 10 grams. So if you guys look these over, have any questions, or if you have any certain products at home you're wondering about, or as you're shopping, let us know and we can help you determine how you would count those if you have any questions on that, okay? So again, 6 grams or over, we're gonna count that macronutrient in that option. So we want you to be able to find things that are easy, that you can grab and go, that you can use to fill your meals. Because I know, a lot of us were trying to get out the door as soon as possible. So let us know if you have any questions on things that you're wondering about, okay? This next one, again, is just a food portion sizes reference guide against a deck of cards. So, like the hand thing, it's just another quick reference guide in case you don't want to either measure or weigh things, okay?
Okay, guys, there was a sheet in there, maybe it ended up in a different spot in your handout, but it's the vitamins and supplements sheet. So if we backtrack a little bit, Julie mentioned, healthy choices. So if a person has, a certain number of macronutrients that they're trying to obtain, it's certainly possible to do that more healthily than someone else might. And so really we want to pay attention to that because it's pretty well known that just macronutrients alone are not going to make a healthy person. So having the healthier choices of food, many of you have been through the BioBalance and Whole30 and stuff like that. Whenever we can have real food, we're just doing a much better job. So, and there's lots of healthy choices there. One of the things I would caution people against, when you have anything, food, products, whatever, it's wise to think about what you're doing a lot. So we breathe a whole lot. That's probably number one. If you are breathing all the time in an area that's carcinogenic, you're going to get cancer. It's pretty easy, right? And so we drink a lot of water and we eat a lot of food. That's kind of second. And so if you are eating substances that cause problems, you will die sooner than the person who's not. So there's no magic there. It's just healthier choices make a big difference. When you're choosing supplements, and it's something that you're having all the time. So like many of us will, and I have for decades, had a protein shake post-workout. Things that we do frequently, and maybe more frequently than we realize, it's really, really wise to be having the healthiest product possible. So if we determine that that's going to be a useful thing, we decide to do it, then we want to choose a healthy one. If you buy a product and there's a whole bunch of